That right there is me in 4th grade. That is the person responsible for my volcanic adventure. And that's probably the person responsible for the edits to my volcanic adventure. Hello friends and neighbors, I'm still in the clothes that I slept in because I simply could not wait to bring you the conclusion of my volcanic adventure. My phone just went off and I should really silence it before I turn on the camera. Chapter 4, Down Under number 2. I assume that was because Down Under number 1 is Australia, Down Under number 2 is this place where I'm going. I don't know. Now, if you'll recall, in the previous chapter, I had been swept away by a current in a river, and I was thinking, how much worse could this get? Here's the resolution. It wasn't a very strong current, extremely mild. Okay. But it got much stronger. Okay. Then it carried me to the rapids. They weren't bad, but unfortunately I saw a waterfall ahead. Oh noes. I got closer and closer and closer and closer, then it happened. Boy, really drawing out the suspense and doing everything that you possibly can to avoid it, aren't you? I fell down the falls. I hit the water hard and sailed around. Then I hit a rock. Now what? Then a tidal wave came and pushed me up. Then I left. Riveting! Clearly I didn't understand the mechanics of how rivers work at all. I heard Dad call, Michael, and I still don't know how to spell Michael. The basement is flooded. Okay, I'm coming, I said. When I went down, I thought, heck, he could do that. Okay. When I finished, I noticed the crawl space. It should be noted, the house that we were living in at the time, pretty much everything else in this is exactly like our house where we were living at the time, except the basement. We did not have a basement. So I made up a basement so that there could be a crawl space for this entrance to the world, I guess. I went in and found myself in front of a valley. I tripped, stumbled, and fell in. Alright, Alicia, this is for you. As you wish. I couldn't get out. I took out my knives and cut in handholds and used them for toe holds. I would have been lost in nature. Let's just get that out there right now. As I reached the basement. This had been a peculiar day. Understatement. That's the end of chapter 4. Chapter 5, Fire. My friends had to canoe over, but they made it. Get it? Because it's flooded. It was Jamie and Mikey. Jamie and Mikey were actually two friends that I had growing up at this time. Bob, who from before, who apparently I didn't call to come over because he told me he couldn't come over. Bob did not exist. I never had a best friend named Bob when I was growing up here, but Jamie and Mikey were two friends of mine. I told them about the place and gave them the map for proof. I do love that I just refer to this as the place. And I gave them the map for proof, because the map is totally going to prove that everything I'm saying is true. They suggested the fireplace for the plains, for there was a fire there. Just because. We went in and were surprisingly right. We were on flat land, facing a great fire. Put it out, I said to Mikey, because Mikey apparently is a volunteer firefighter. How? Said Jamie. I realized I had 2 canteens of water. I took one, poured it on the fire, and put it out. I guess it wasn't a very big fire. It's like a campfire. Oh, there we go. We walked through. We walked into the family room. And that's the end of chapter 5. I was clearly getting bored with this story by this time. Like, I was putting in all this detail in the early chapters, but now it's like, and I did this, and it worked, and then we were back at the house. Chapter 6, Going Up. The next obstacle was the hill. We guessed it was in Mom and Dad's closet. For some reason. We stood at the bottom of the hill. I took out the knives and climbed the same way I had in the valley. As we climbed to the top, we appeared in the bedroom. Next was the cliff. Okay, now it's only a short paragraph per obstacle. That's it. Just a few sentences and then we move on to the next one. We went to the hall closet and were at the cliff. I took out the rope and the anchor and hooked it up. Because once again, I totally knew how to do that. We climbed up the rope. I could not. The gym rope climbing thing, I couldn't do that to save my life. We climbed up the rope near the top and appeared crowded in the closet. The next one was the mountain. In Cassie's, my little sister's, in case you've forgotten from before I put a parenthetical for you, closet. There were cracks that we used for climbing and pieces of land to rest on. Toward the top, there were no more cracks, so we used the pieces of land which got closer together as stairs. My understanding of mountains is similar to my understanding of rivers. Then we got home again, and my friends had to go. And as you can see, they were deeply, deeply relevant to the plot. Chapter 7, Fire-Breathing Rock. I found the canyon in my closet. The canyon, I guess, is the next obstacle, because I remembered the horrifying sight of the volcano about to erupt. I jumped across, but started falling. No shit, Sherlock. I took out the rope, hooked it on a tree branch, and swung across. When I landed, I was home. I found the volcano in the dryer. There's an out-of-context statement that needs to be on a t-shirt. I found the volcano in the dryer. I climbed up with the rope and anchor and was just going to jump in when I was home again. Why couldn't I just do this all at once? That is an excellent question. Why couldn't I have just done this all at once? Because I had to have each and every one of the little crevices in my house be an entrance into the world. I had to make that happen. My obsession with structure that I still have, and that is sometimes detrimental to my stories, is very much present here. Chapter 8, Is It Just Me, or Is It Hot in Here? I knew it was almost supper time, but I had to finish. Well, yeah, because you've got until 5. I went to the washing machine and went in the volcano. Volcano's in the inside of the volcano. The volcano itself is the dryer, but the inside of the volcano is the washing machine. Because, you know, you go... Never mind. When I landed in the lava, I put the sword, gems and all, in a slot. I have completely forgotten since the forest to point out that gems kept appearing on this sword. Then I fell in. You already jumped in. But the lava turned to water and it spewed out. Oh, that's lucky. It pushed me out of the volcano and I slid down it through the canyon, which was full of water, down the mountain, cliff, and hill, through the plains and former fire, through the valley, through the river, tidal wave, waterfall, rapids, current, strong, medium, mild, and calm. I had to relive all the river parts. The animals ran away in terror in the forest, and then I splashed into the ocean. I think I would be dead. The sharks came over to see what the action was, and one ate me and knocked me unconscious, because that's the worst that'll happen if you get eaten by a shark. You'll get knocked unconscious. When I woke up, it was time for supper. I guess I was crammed in the washing machine and Mom didn't even question it. And finally, Chapter 9, Finale. There was no school the next day. I kept visiting the place and took friends with me. Again, the place. Cassie was bored. She went to her room. The closet was growling. Growling now. She went in to check it out and... ... to be continued in the next story. Yes, that's right. I had a whole series planned of these adventures that you would get to by, I don't know, going in the closet. So I think the next one was like water. Like the place got flooded, and so it was an aquatic adventure. And then I had like a bunch more that I was thinking about doing, and oh, wow. So you can't say that I lacked for imagination, even if I lacked for, you know, writing prowess. So that was my volcanic adventure. I hope you enjoyed that little glimpse into my childhood. And that's gonna be it for me for today. I think I should get dressed. So, see you tomorrow, VEDSies.